Hey guys, Bonhamgear here with another video project. Check it out. Bottom here back, as you can see, we've already done our 14, 16, 26 inch. And today we are finishing up the drum kit with our 16 by 18 inch floor tom. As you can see, this is a 1970. It's got a beautiful badge on there. I pre-did the legs. In the last video we talked about the position of the leg mounts, how I like them to be where the drummer can, if you can see, reach them from their position. And even if they had to get over that one. But this is the 16 by 18. We already put the muffler in. What we're going to do is do the lugs. As you remember, each one of our videos we talked about how we hand polish each lug and dip it in liquid rubber and put a little piece of rubber foam or felt in there so these don't buzz or move around. Then we have the tension rods there. We have the heads and the legs right there. And this kit will be done. This kit is listed for sale on eBay and on Reverb and on our Bonhamgear page. If you reach out to me, bonhamgear@gmail.com, we would definitely be willing to make a deal. Here's what a completed kit looks like. Let's get some light on there. This is the drum kit I play with. It's the same one in my videos. I have a master set of cymbals, but this is 100% correct to John Bottom's error, including the wood on the ground, the correct cymbal stands, heads. I'll show you the cymbal setup. I'll do a video just on the board, but the Rogers hi-hat stand, and it's actually drilled in so it doesn't bounce around. The vintage 6.5 by 14 Superphonic 1970. These are vintage, all vintage white label giant beats, as you can see. Giant beat there, the embossed logo, 1967. It's a 24-inch giant beat, 20-inch vintage giant beat, both white labels. And listen, I like to play with the China. I throw one in there every once in a while. Speed King pedal, and I even have the correct drum seat over there. I have the gong, everything's stashed away, but this is my normal playing gear. So, let's finish out this kit. If you guys are interested in buying it, please let me know. If you remember in our other videos, what I like to do is to take these drums, put in all my screws first, and then I'll go back around and tighten everything. This is the last drum in this build. We've done the 16 by 16, the bass drum, the 14 by 26 inch, and the 10 by 14. You can check it out in our other videos. But what we'll do is we'll get these lugs mounted. By the way, Ludwig made a few different size lugs in the 70s. They made the large classic, which was this one, and then they made a small lug. And the small lugs a lot of times were used on concert toms or smaller shells, sometimes on 8 by 12 or smaller than that. But they would use them in the concert toms and things like that. So sometimes you have to be careful of what you buy. A lot of times people out there will sell you gear and it may not be correct. My suggestion is to always do research. If you have any comments or need some advice about building these drums, man, please let me know. You know, we don't charge for anything other than if you wanted to buy some gear. But my friends helped me out when I got started. Some very instrumental people that are still involved in my life just gave me a lot of free advice. If you remember my story from before, I wanted to get into vintage gear and get vintage gear, but I was broke. I didn't have any money, but I had my regular drums, so I literally sold all of my gear. I started off with the Vistalite a reissue Vista-like kit and a bunch of red label 2002s, and I sold my gear and started to buy one vintage drum at a time. So if you're someone like me and you're watching these videos and you really don't have a whole lot of finances, my suggestion is to buy one drum at a time. Buy a 16 by 16 or a 16 by 18 and get it wrapped and get all the pieces. You can learn to do these things yourself and just go slow and take your time. Eventually, you'll be able to get all the gear that you need. And to rebuild these, as you can see, to put together a drum after you take it apart, and the real time is making sure you have the correct parts, taking everything apart, polishing everything, making sure it's correct is where the time and energy comes in. So again, my mentor Joe early on said, John, buy a kit, and eventually maybe you can find nicer lugs and take your drum apart again and swap them out and have nicer lugs or things like that. So if you want to start, my suggestion is to start small. Just don't go out and buy everything. So these drums are incredibly light. You wouldn't think it to look at them, but they're not these heavy giant drums. Even with all of the metal on it, the drums I've had other drums over the years that were incredibly heavy. These drums are light, and maybe it's part of the sound that makes it so awesome. So, all right, so this is the 16 by 18. Sounds amazing. I can't wait to get the heads on here so you guys can hear it. We just got a new MIDI, so I've been testing recording my drums again. I got a 4-channel MIDI that sat in a box for a very long time, and I just got it opened and did our first test run early today. So hopefully there's some more videos coming out soon. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about building these drums or what gear you need to get. We just want to help people get the correct stuff and not get ripped off by anybody. There's a few other people now that have taken what I've done with these drums and are doing extremely well, and they put together their own kits, and I think that's cool. We want to be able to share knowledge and information. All right. Screw gun. This is tensioned to stop right as we need it. And this is generally what I'm going to do, is just go through and tighten, and it literally stops when... Come on, I'm a drummer. We're supposed to do right hand and left hand, right? This is tension to stop just as it gets tight. We don't need to over tighten anything. We just don't want it under tight. We don't want to cause any damage to any parts. We want to make sure everything works incredibly well. Okay. And probably, I say it a lot, maybe about 10-15 minutes it takes to do a build. Maybe if you're not recording your video, you can knock it out quicker. I know people like to tinker with their drums, take them apart from time to time, and that's pretty cool. Whatever's comfortable to you, do. And here we go. Here we have it. 16 by 18. It's 18-inch across the top. Okay, this is the... What's up, guys? This is the final assembly for the 16 by 16-inch floor tom. I always like to work with the bottom first, and I think it has to do with the bottom head should have a little bit more tension than the top. What I do is I like to take the logo and make sure the logo hooks up to where our badge is. Get our head on there. Make sure everything is in order and correct with where it's supposed to be. In there, get it on. Get our hoop up there. And we'll go around by hand and put the tension rods where they need to be. And what my mentor would teach me was to put the tension rods in and get them as tight as possible with your hand first, and then go through and do all of the tightening. This isn't a tuning video. I'll do one of those another time. But I'd like you to see what it takes to build one of these kits. To me, again, this is the coolest thing. When you get to these final spots and you're starting to put everything together. It's really a good time. Yeah. Every once in a while you get a tension rod that's just a little stuck. It has its own issues in life, and that happens. You know? That happens. By the way, never spray WD-40 on your drum parts. If you're gonna use something, we use something called like Grease Lightning. All you have to do is put a little dab on the insert of the lug, and that is all that you need. You don't need to spray anything. Some people would call WD-40 when you spray it on your drum stuff dust collection. It just collects all the dirt and the grease and everything all around. But a little bit of grease inside the insert is a good place to be, you know. So I'm really excited to get this kit finished. It's been sitting around for a while. And my son really helped out with a lot of things. He's 4, so it's cool to be able to do a project together with him. Again, we're not doing this for tuning purposes, but I'm just going to go press down on each one by hand. And the method is, how do you get it to be the most consistent across the board with the amount of pressure that's being applied to each and every shell. So, almost lost the jump. 3. I usually count 1, 2, 3. There we go. Opposite. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good one right there. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pretty cool. I'll go back and tweak it a little bit later. I just want to make sure there's good tension on here. Does sound pretty good already. Okay. Let's do the top. You can see the beautiful badge right there. And we take this Remo and Emperor coated and put it right where the badge is. If you keep all your pieces together, it makes this a whole lot easier. I like to use tablecloths or cardboard to put it under spaces and places so it doesn't damage your drums as you're working on them along the way. I've had a guy ask me that before. They don't need any more scrapes and scratches on it. They're already from the 70s, so they got enough bruises on their own, right? Don't need anybody else bruising them up. All of these tension rods are matching, by the way. The 16 and the 18 all match in size and diameter. They're the correct ones that came with the drum from the factory. They're vintage Ludwig. Some people do kits and they'll sell them as vintage, but the parts are new and replacement. It's very expensive to buy parts. Sometimes these tension rods might run $3, $4 a piece now. It's kind of ridiculous, the prices you see. Again, get your tension rods tightened by hand. I really like to make sure this logo is where the badges are. This way I can kind of tell when I'm setting up a drum kit or breaking it down where the badges are going to be. It puts a good presentation, I think, when you look at your drum kit. You can see the pictures of my finished kits and where you see all the badges facing forward. It makes it just look cool. Those little details, I think, to me, are special. So when it's still like this, as I said in our other ones, you can still move the heads around a little bit and make sure all your tension rods are straight. If you just blast into it, you can't do any of those things. You can't fix any of the challenges that happen. I mean, we're people, so it's imperfect. It's broken in a sense, you know? Okay. Okay, here we go. The last drum we've done 2, 3, a little bit. 1, 2, 3, a little bit. 1, 2, 3, a little bit. 3, a little bit. 1, 2, 3, a little bit. You can feel some. You can just feel the tension. 1, 2, 3, a little bit. You can just feel sometimes when things need a little bit more, like that one. So I'll just go through and make this. Oh, I didn't miss that one completely. There we go. That's all right. We gotta just fix this. Oh, here we go. That's the one. A little too high. Okay, we'll fix it. Okay. Now that this is put together, the legs get put on the same way for all my drums. All I do is I take them and I just go past the milled part and tighten it up. We are in the home stretch of having this collector's 1970 14, 16, 18, 26 inch drum kit in the same size as John Bonham. 16 by 16, 16 by 18, I'm sorry. This is the finished 16 by 18. You can see it's beautiful. It's got a very nice blue and olive original badge. Every part of this is very beautiful. And let's get it on its home. Here is the finished John Bonham Green Sparkle 1970 3-ply Ludwig drum kit with the original front head, original logo, all correct parts. As you can see, this is exactly what you want to see from a drum kit. You know, we've had a lot of people reach out to say how expensive these things are, and they are, to do all the work on it. This is the real deal, and when you get a chance to sit down and play on one, you totally get it. Thanks for watching our videos.